don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Okay, Randall.
Here.
Miles.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Espinoza. Here. Kudo.
Here.
And Graham and Wheelie are absent with notice.
All right. For a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion. I'll second that.
The motion second to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? For a motion to approve the minutes of the February 24th, 2026 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the February 24th, 2026 meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comments. Are you here to comment?
Yeah, that's me.
You got 5 minutes at the podium. Introduce yourself to Teresa so she gets you in the record.
Cooper Tracy, I live at 411 North Oaks. I was in here a few weeks ago about the parcels that are out there between Fifth and Ramona. Just wanted to kind of question, I guess, as a potential proposal. I have no idea what the process would be for this, but I know that the walking trail eventually is going to go up western at some point, or at least I think that's what the route says it will eventually do. That obviously isn't the best ground to develop, or at least has come into issues with it. I'm not saying it's impossible. You can throw a couple houses on there, but it's financially, I know it's kind of a strain. We've all wanted parks of some kind in that area. There's nothing, I mean, we've got to, we can go not too far over and get to the main park, but if the walking path goes up that way, that could be a perfect spot for a park. Church needs plenty of ground, weird space that isn't a whole lot to do with, but obviously that involves the city buying it. I don't know exactly the process to pitch something like that, or what, maybe even just personal opinions on it, if that would be something
Your
you think would be a wise idea.
Your first place to pitch would be with our Park and Rec Board.
Okay.
And Teresa can let you know their meeting dates.
Yeah, actually, they meet on the 23rd of this month, so it's
Okay.
Monday at 6:30.
Okay.
So it'll be this
Watch out for that.
2 weeks, yep, and their agendas get posted just like,
Yeah, I've seen
you can look on the
Yeah.
website, but be the 23rd this month,
Okay.
and it's a Monday though,
Okay.
at 6:30.
That'll work.
Yeah, because they're the starting point of determining where parks and trails and all those things kind of go.
Yeah, they did kind of a comprehensive plan not that long ago.
Yeah, and I saw that, and so that's kind of what popped in our head, of, okay, there's at least a want to do something like this, to add parks of some
Yeah.
kind in, and I mean, even if it's just left as a, chunk of nature, I mean, obviously that'd be perfect for us, but, even something
Sure.
like that, it would be obviously well received, I think, in the neighborhood of,
Yep.
so.
It's a good idea. And you're right, the county's original traffic studies and plan for Western Avenue includes the, what they call it, multimodal path
Yeah, yeah, I think that's their fancy word for it.
on the east side of that. But that's out probably 10 years yet in the county's plan.
Yeah.
But it's the right time to be talking to Parks Board to get it
Exactly.
on
That's
their
kind of
radar.
what we were thinking, just wanted
Yep.
to at least figure out where to start to get the ball rolling, so that's a good, didn't quite think Parks and Rec, that makes a little more sense, but.
You saw us here, so it's a good starting point.
Exactly.
Appreciate you taking the time to come in
That
and
works.
start the process.
Cool. All right, well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring your friends next time, make them come with you.
Normally that's bad when people show up, right?
No, we'd like it.
Yeah, it's forming an issue.
Yeah.
You guys have a good one.
Yeah, you too, thank you.
All right, no hearings and petitions tonight, so we'll move to new business, reviewing the current building permit fees and changes. Teresa, lead us on.
Okay, well, as you know, we've kind of been looking into this. Actually, Kyle did a lot of research of getting the numbers together, but we thought it just might be a time to look at our current fees and structure of how we calculate building permits. The last time we reviewed this was back in 2018, so we just want to put it out there for discussion. See what you guys think, if you think we're in line, if we're not, if we should change anything. So really when we figure a building permit for something, and basically we start with figuring an evaluation of a project. And certain things like, a new home or remodel, we charge a valuation of so much a square foot. Other things are just, a flat fee of so much a square foot, whether it be a deck or fence, everything's got a valuation associated with it. So they come in, we figure the valuation of that project, and then whatever that dollar amount comes to, Then we take that times our fee schedule. So we charge, so much for the first, let's say it was a new house. For the first 5,000, we charge X amount of dollars for valuation. And then we charge $2 every $1,000 after that. There's this calculation system of how we come up with the actual dollar amount. So we figure the valuation, then we figure what the fee is, and then us and every municipality around us has, various other charges that go along with the building permit. So say like it's a new house, we have tapping fees, to hook into the water and sewer main, so you may have hookup charges. I mean, all the other communities have that too. And really the only other thing that we have here in Hartford is what we call our part fee, but that's a fee that we associate onto a building permit, residential or commercial, all building permits get it. That goes into our general fund to basically help with all public improvements. We can use, it's really unrestricted, we can use it for public improvements throughout the city. So those are the things we charge. Other cities have administrative fees, they have, if you look through the packet, you'll see T and Brandon have a huge sewer district fee because they're hooked up with the Sioux Falls municipal, our water system, so they have a huge fee on that, so their building permits are super high if they're going to be using sewer. Some have inspection fees on it. Ours, we don't have an administration fee or inspection fee. That's all kind of figured just as part of the building permit. So it's a lot of information we gave you. Like I said, Kyle did a lot of research, kind of gave you a sheet that kind of just does a comparison of what other counties charge as far as how they figure their valuations. So much per your habitable space, so much for a finished basement, so much for a garage. We have us shown what we charge, and then we have the other cities there to compare it to. Also then with commercial permits, we kind of got a system of how we charge or put a value onto those. And then after that, like I said, that's then the actual fee schedule of, how do you calculate that valuation into, so we gave you a comparison of all the cities there, and every city's just a little bit different. Their valuations may be slightly higher or lower, but then their fee structure may be slightly higher than lower than us. We thought, I should say, then the next one, we had kind of have a list of the other additional fees put on. But I thought maybe a true comparison, and the last sheet in your, of all this information, give you, Kyle went and did a comparison of actual, okay, let's just show what the difference is. Here's a single family home. He just took a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1326 square foot on the main floor, 791 garage, unfinished basement with a deck, and then calculated what the actual fee would be, the building permit would cost somebody if they went and did it between the various cities. So, like I said, you look at T and Brandon, and all these are figured with a 1-inch water meter too, because like T and Brandon, they charge it by the size of the meter. We just have a flat fee, which so does Lennox and Harrisburg, but those have by the size of the meter. So we figured apples to apples. You can see T and Brandon are definitely way higher, but that's that sewer district fee in there for being on the Sioux Falls system there. That's that one-time charge. Even if you take that out of there, T is still pretty darn high. Brandon comes a little bit lower, but it's pretty high too. Compare it, we're not the lowest around the region. We're not the highest either. So food for thought and discussion of what you guys think after look at this.
If you take the system development charge out, Brandon and Harrisburg are pretty much neck to neck, and T is
Yeah, it comes down to
just
about
barely
30.
ahead.
Yep.
There's not much difference between
No,
them.
it brings them down to here, for T still stays
T's probably the
way up there.
highest.
T is the highest, definitely around.
T's just a
You take
a
6,000
shade
off
over
of
6,000.
that.
4.
What'd you say?
They're just a little between 4,000 and 5,000 then, because you're going to take
Yeah. I think they're
$6,000 off of it.
They'd be the highest though. if we
They're
had a
still the
winner.
highest,
If we had a
yes.
winner.
Yeah.
We do have
Winner.
one.
We do have a winner.
And that's, I mean, the other side of that is where it makes them the winners,
Yeah.
$4,000 to hook up to the water and sewer.
Right, if you're doing a 1-inch meter. And like I said, if you're doing a 3, here it can be
Yeah.
lower, but if, we're comparing apples to apples here.
But how does that compare with water and sewer rates in the future, you know, down the road?
Well, I was gonna say, and the question, so they have their system development fee that goes to being hooked on to Sioux Falls. How does that compare to then sewer and like surcharges that we have or that Harrisburg has because we built our own plants? You know,
And that goes on the water bill, you know, we don't charge that on the building permit.
Right.
I realize that, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is,
We're not
we've
comparing
got our
those sides.
surcharge.
What's a 5-year comparison look like with those?
Yeah, we're paying
20, whatever.
$600 a year in a surcharge for the sewer plant.
What's the one-time?
How does that compare to what is on their sewer bills? Does their $6,000 come back in 10 years? I don't know.
Or do they still have a surcharge?
I don't know that
Yeah,
either.
I don't know that either. You know,
Right,
do they
yep,
still have
yep.
a surcharge on top of the hookup? I mean, for the, I mean,
I mean, it's whatever, it's a,
Yeah.
neither here nor there on that side of it,
I
but
thought it was a lot of good information there.
there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, I look at the single family and it's great, I mean, it's a great comparison and everything, it's good information. I would love to see some comparables on commercial.
We can do that.
And I would love to have feedback from our development corp on how they feel. And I don't know if they have already run comparisons or they know what it is, but what's their feeling if, say, let's just say on a commercial building, we're $5,000 and everybody else is less. Is it hurting us because our building permit is higher? The feedback from them, I think, is a good question
So
to
you're talking
ask.
like the HADF? the
HADF,
development?
yes.
Okay. That's-
Something, I
There's
guess,
some,
very similar to the residential.
yep.
'Cause I
Just
thought
do a
this was-
comparison on $1 million commercial.
No, do $1 million, a
Yeah,
5 and a
I've
10
done that,
million.
so, but-
Let's think somebody big's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I thought the residential comparison was
Yeah.
well put together.
Kyle, how do you think that, so the building permit fee is $665. How does that compare with our cost to go out multiple times for inspections?
I mean,
How many times are you on site on a single family home?
minimum 3, you have footing, foundation, footing, framing, and then final.
Yep.
I mean, probably 25% of the time, there might be a pre-final and a final, depending if they're missing stuff, but for the most part, it's 3 inspections.
3 to 4?
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're doing, but I would say commercial, you're probably out there more though, aren't you, just as they
Checking in,
progress.
it seems like
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are usually larger projects, and so you're keeping an ear and kind of another eye on them, so.
Yep. I'm just wondering if that's administratively, what do we have, an hour into a building permit? By the time we
Yeah.
put everything together and,
And like I said, you know, every project's kind of a little different,
No,
so,
I
you know, it's
understand that.
really hard to get a,
thinking about the single family home.
but this thing, yeah, we
Average
could
it
compare
out.
like this project, and compare that with other cities, we can maybe do a comparison with, you know, a commercial.
I mean, our building permit fees look, they're lower.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, and then the park fee, I know that that's kind of a push with the park board and getting some funding in, we're looking at our, you know, developer fee.
Unfortunately, the park fee,
It goes into the general fund.
it goes into the general fund and they can use it. It's not just for parks or development.
I
I mean,
understand that.
used to buy sand salt
Yeah.
to salt
But
the street.
that's where the money comes for the park board, but it can, yeah, like you said, it can be used to.
Buy sand salt because the street's so.
Yeah.
It should just be general fee.
Yeah, I really hate that and it's been called park fee ever since I've been here, I really hate that it's called that, it should just be, yeah, we should just call it some kind of administrative fee or something, yeah, something a little bit better they should have come up with.
Would be a more encompassing
Right.
term.
Public
for that.
improvement fee or something,
Yeah.
yeah, something a little more general.
I don't know, I try to think of like what
The,
Hartford's
closest by, like, building wise, you know, to what towns are building like Hartford is. And I would say that, you know, Harrisburg and T are probably gonna leave it around there.
Yeah,
And
that's a
Brandon.
comparison, and
Yeah.
Brandon as well.
I think we're closest to Lennox and Del Rapids on this list, you know,
Yeah,
community wise.
Population-wise,
Population
Lennox,
wise,
they're a little bit smaller than us,
services-wise.
but yeah, so, yeah.
Um,
Closer there.
I know when we built our house, it was more than what we'd planned on comparing to like Sioux Falls. Just the building permit wise.
Oh, were you figuring their sewer fee in Sioux Falls? Because they've got a month for one there.
Yeah, so I mean, no, we were just looking at building permit itself, so.
Yeah, so.
No, I understand there's more pieces to
Right.
that than just the permit.
And we'll just, right, so the water, the hookup fees, the water and sewer, they do go into those funds. So that is good to have, because that'll go for the maintenance and operation of those funds. You know, and actually, you know, help with the reserves in those funds. So when we do water projects or sewer projects, you know, that helps build up those funds, so that doesn't go to the general.
I mean, I would, rather than changing the fee schedule, I'd almost suggest that we look at our valuation. Because other than T, I mean, our valuation is dramatically lower than everybody else. And you can raise the, I'm just, for lack of better words, you can raise the mill levy, and everybody looks at it and says, well, you're so much higher than somebody else. But if they see the valuation and we're valuing at, say, $100 a square, you can't build a doghouse for $100 a square anymore.
Yeah, and that's, no, and that's true, you know, we're putting a value on these projects, but, you know, last time these values were changed was in 2018. We all know everything has gone up, you know, so
think in 2018
it isn't unreasonable to
$100 a
think,
square.
to assign a higher value to a project, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had that discussion with people on property taxes. It's like, well, our taxes just keep going up and the city and I said, our mill levy has gone down every year since we moved to this town in 2015. Every year the mill levy goes down, but the value of your house went up, that's why your taxes went up.
But yeah, looking at the residential construction, pulling a lot out, the last that we built was, they were slab on grade, but they were over $200 a square foot, not including the lot or, you know, just house side of things.
Yeah.
And that's slab on grade, that's,
Guys I've been involved with now is basically said, it's $250 a square, and you're not getting super good
I've heard
finish.
300 a square.
yeah, it could be three,
I think
350
it's
pretty
only
easily.
3.
Yep.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
So I mean, you
Crazy,
can,
yeah.
you could bump both your permit fee and your park fee would go up without changing the multiplier.
But you could bump those up by 50% all the way down the board
Right.
and still be underneath the threshold.
Right.
That's a couple things I had. I'd like to see some commercial, the residential comparison is awesome and I appreciate that, but I'd love to see like say a 1, a 5, and a $10 million comparison.
Okay.
For the commercial you're talking about.
For commercial, right, for commercial projects.
I do agree though, with looking at the value of how you're valuing the new homes and stuff. I don't know, do the other towns base that off of, are they just using a set dollar per square foot? So like you said,
Some of them are based on
you
actual
could go anywhere from 200 to
construction
250
costs.
square foot.
Right, Stacy, some are basing on a square foot and some are based on the actual cost of construction.
For commercial, yeah.
It depends on the city where they're coming up with their valuation from. I like just having a square foot number, goes across the board, doesn't matter what you're building, here's our number. And our number's still low compared to the vast majority of the builds are gonna be done.
Yeah, if you even change it up to 200 a square.
You're gonna be
That's-
under most anything that's gonna get done.
Yeah. Yep.
Not calling saying anybody might fib a number, but when you're asking, based on actual cost, what's your paperwork to show what your actual cost was?
Right.
Yeah, what's included and what's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, we kind of got
And that
down
shouldn't
down that
include
road a
appliances or
little bit.
land, or it should just be the building.
It should just be the building, but
But there again,
Yeah.
that's pretty easy to manage.
It just takes out a lot.
You
It
can
just
get
takes out
into
all
the
guesswork.
equation where-
Right,
By
if
square
you
foot.
put just a square footage valuation, it takes,
Right.
guesswork out.
well,
Yep.
if you're going total cost, you can even get in a situation with somebody that's gonna GC their own house and when they come in to get the building permit, say, well, I got a construction loan, it's gonna cover the cost of everything I'm gonna do here, and it's $350,000, well, $100,000 of it was land acquisition cost, and others not part of the building, and they didn't realize that, now they're paying too much for the building permit.
Yep, I agree. Okay, well, we'll get some comparison for the next meet on some commercial projects. And we'll,
Teresa, could you find out what Crooks is charging?
Crooks,
I didn't see the Crooks listed on there when I read it this morning, I don't think.
Well, if you,
they're,
you know,
But they say they're supposed to be growing pretty fast with all that expansion in northwest Sioux Falls. And I'd just like to see our fees compared to theirs.
well, if you
I
listen.
don't think
if you listen-
I don't think our building
Nothing's gonna
permit
grow
fees
there
are
now.
keeping people from developing in Hartford.
People are leaving.
I mean, our fees are the lowest of anybody around the area. Lee, and, you know, you look at all the towns that you had listed there, I think, you know, our fees are a lot lower.
Del Rapids is kicking our butt up.
Yeah.
I think Del Rapids needs to raise theirs.
Exactly. So, and then, I say, once you get that commercial comparison, I'd like to have feedback brought to us from HADF, how they feel
I got
about
that,
that.
so we'll do that. First, I'll get some feedback from the HADF, what their thoughts about development, and if there's, yeah, they got any input on that. We'll try to kind of figure out maybe what a administrative cost is for a project, for
I think that would be fair
residential
to-
home maybe,
yeah.
and, you know, what time it takes, and what kind of trying to figure out the cost for that, and so we'll put that too, so. Okay, we'll get
Cool.
some more information and continue our discussion then.
Good start.
No,
Good start.
perfect.
Do we have anything more from Mr. Clarke other than his,
So he couldn't be here tonight. He did send me an email though to give you guys an update, so.
I figured that he did,
He
he's
did.
always thorough.
He's good about it. Residential, there are 7 open single-family home permits still, 2 of the twin home permits. Commercial project updates, basically for the city, the park bathrooms are still in progress. I'll just tell you from the city side, we've got the plumber, electrician there, we're getting close to being almost done with those. And then they're working on putting tin on the shelters out there with the roof and whatnot, so that's another permit we have outstanding. 1095 Root Trail, he said he completed a pre-final inspection on that. 1205 North Oaks, there on the HADS ground, completed a pre-final on that commercial building as well. And Wayne's Warehouse, he closed out their sign permit, so. It's updates.
All right. Mr. Christensen, what have you got for us?
Still got dealing with pet licenses, animals at large. I did get a complaint about chickens inside of city limits over by the pump house, 138, lift station, I guess.
There's some in Hartford Heights, I think. I'm surprised you haven't gotten complaints by the ones that are across my road. They don't seem to cross
So
both
they
roads.
say cross review.
They're in the county,
Yeah, but if they cross Colton Road, they won't be.
but the chicken's not crossing the road.
They don't let the chicken cross the
They
road.
do
Don't let the
tend to
chicken
roam
cross the
all
road.
the way down there, and I'm surprised that they don't.
Where was the complaint on chickens?
The lift station on Highway 38,
Our new one.
Okay.
we're
So-
just east of that. That strip is still technically inside the city limits.
We had chickens on
So who was
On the
there that was
chicken-
complaining about it? Is that,
There's no
You see 'em.
there's no structure, no farm, no nothing. What, did they just have them out in a pen out there?
There's a coop in that row of trees there.
Okay.
And-
Mr. Woolman.
Yeah, somebody who lives in Harbor Nice Springs has chickens.
Across the road.
Yeah,
they
do.
did cross the road.
Across the road.
They do.
Now, when we're there, that's, I'm pretty certain I know whose chickens there, who belongs to the chickens.
Didn't that come up at city council?
We did
Last
have
week, I read the minutes
a,
and.
we did have a gentleman come during public comments at the last city council meeting and asked the
That
council
was-
to consider chickens.
That was only fitting it showed up when the mayor wasn't here.
I know, isn't that funny how it was timed that way? I don't know if he knows. Yeah.
Okay, what, anything else, Kyle?
The chickens.
Then I just had a code enforcement violation, well, not a violation, just I sent out a reminder letter for temporary signage. Other than that, that's it.
There's a car on North Maple, up by the Maple Pass Apartments, that's missing a tire and a wheel. It's just, yeah, the
On the
Honda's just
road?
sitting on the asphalt right now on the road
Been there for,
for a while,
yeah.
maybe a week.
Speaking of temporary signage, I sent
There.
Teresa an email
I think
today.
that's what he's talking about.
Was that the one? It was about political signage. How long is that allowed to be up and out and,
120 days. Temporary signage, as long as it's under 32 square feet, temporary signs can be for 120 days.
okay, I know that's been up longer than 120
He
days.
said that, but
I think
we
it's been
don't
up
really have a
forever.
start date too, so that's what we had, Kyle.
Well,
Send them the regulations, let
Can
them know
we-
that we do have regulations on signage and.
but aren't
And I
all
didn't even think it was
isn't all
allowed-
political stuff exempt from any of our sign ordinances?
Well, and she had to call in, I read it.
I thought it could only be around an election.
And we don't
too.
even call out political signs, they're just classified under our temporary signs.
Okay, for some reason, I was thinking that state law said that there's state law on how long signs
Oh,
can,
I looked at it.
there's state law out there as to when political signs can go up
Be
and
down.
they have to be down within a certain number of days post-election.
Yeah,
That's good, no, I was just looking at.
because I knew that,
our
because one of
ordinance.
my friend Joy Home, she had to make sure she got all her signs off at
Yeah,
a certain
after.
time.
If I remember right, the
Unfortunately, I don't know
post-election,
who enforces that.
if I remember right, post-election is 7 days post-election.
And I
But I-
don't follow the election, so I don't even know if there's one coming up, but that sign has been there
I mean-
forever.
June would be the
And I'm tired of
closest.
looking
You're
at
right,
it.
Tony, it's 7 days after the election.
So
But I don't know pre-election, because
you can
right now, I mean, if it's for a candidate, it could be up now for the primary coming up in June.
Yeah.
But we're talking, this is March.
Yeah,
Well, I know,
there's
but-
primaries in June.
There's a
But it's been
primary
up,
in June.
this has been up, I at least
Yeah,
since
you said it,
Christmas.
Well, there's one candidate for governor that's had signs up for going on 2 years now.
Okay, that's probably what I'm talking about, so, yeah. And,
Because Toby Doden's had signs up for forever
Yes.
already.
yes. So I'm just tired, I was just asking, I just was getting tired of looking at it.
But yeah, you probably, before we get in a firefight, you better check the state law and see what it says about politicals.
I just didn't want
I
billboards
was gonna
starting.
say, I thought all the Biden signs are down.
All the Viking signs?
No, the Biden sign.
Oh, the Biden signs, yeah. And there's still a couple here and there.
No.
All right,
Let's not get into a political argument, I just
We're
didn't
not.
want billboards all over
we're just
town.
making a statement that,
I know I would lose this one.
Kyle, what else you got? Anything for us, buddy?
That's it.
All right. Teresa, you have anything to add to your report?
Nothing to really add to my report, just that you know, so the 38 North Development, we did pass the preliminary plans contingent, they addressed engineer comments, so they are addressing all of them. We did have kind of a starter conversation with the city council about detention ponds though, and we're gonna gather some more information from other cities to see if they take them over, when they take them over, do they charge a fee, just kind of gather some more information for the council so we can continue that discussion. There's pros and cons against taking detention ponds over. Obviously, I think though, long-term, especially in a situation like this where a developer comes in and develop it and is gone, you know, like a residential development like that, and they're not like a commercial property that's on the property, I think the city will have to take them over in the long run. It's just how do we take them over, when do we take them, just figuring out those nuances.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to.
Unfortunately,
Yes, that's just it.
unfortunately, and I
With
wasn't
like
here, and I know Mark and I have talked about it,
Yeah.
in my mind, anything that's
Regionalized?
regionalized,
Yes.
I mean,
And
if
that's
you've got
what kind of
multiple properties dumping into,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to make.
Yeah, and that's kind of been,
Tony,
I've
go
done a
for it.
little preliminary, just kind of threw
Because
some
he
questions
looked-
out to other city
What's that?
administrators, and
It's hard to make you look
usually
like, 'cause you
the
live up.
consensus of it, if it's
Right?
regional, they can
Well,
really take them
and I
over.
take, you get
Single
two
property.
really good examples. The north side of Ace Hardware has a detention pond, and that collects from them. The new car wash on Opal has a detention pond. The car wash on Opal's detention pond dumps into drainage detention pond that goes down to Mickelson, across in front of Gerald Cressman's, in front of Cressman's house, and then meets up with, well, it goes down, then it goes around the backside of Cressman's house and back down this side, and then dumps in and goes down to Skunk, down to Turtle Creek. Well, it's collecting up, that detention pond in itself is collecting up water from 4 or 5 different development or neighborhoods there in effect. But Cressman's are having to take care of 2/3 of that. The city took over the west side
Got
going
part
to
of
the
it.
south, and on the south side, but then Cressman's have to take care of it, yet from the south side, down by your old house,
No.
and then up to the road, and then down alongside the road, and then back up in again.
Yeah. And that's taking care of all the water from their development as well.
It's taking care of their water, everything,
Yeah,
but, I
everything.
mean, that's, in my mind, that's a regionalized type
But
detention
that's
pond.
almost a waterway.
I would say that's
Oh,
not
no.
really a detention
Well,
pond.
but they're-
It's not holding the
Individual
water.
structure.
But there begins even the question is, you created,
Your pond?
a waterway was created there
Yeah.
to
With
drain
their
all of those
development,
neighborhoods. It should, as we go forward on this, it shouldn't just be detention ponds. If we're creating a waterway to get water out of those neighborhoods, rather than putting in a storm sewer pipe,
Yep. That should be looked at as well. I
that needs to be
agree.
looked at too, and that
Because
makes,
that takes maintenance and care
Yeah.
as well, just like we got
But
to
a
take care of
detention
tank
pond,
is
by design, should have an outlet structure and then piped into the storm sewer system,
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
or into a waterway.
It's not a natural, yeah. A little
But it
different,
should have an outlet structure
but,
with
yeah, I
a
think we just need to look at
channel
I mean,
outflow.
we-
that whole thing.
There was, and I don't know who was the cause of saving a whole bunch of money on storm sewer, but there was a whole bunch of money saved on storm sewer. They're creating a waterway drainage easement rather than putting storm sewer in. Because once you get under Mickelson Road, it dumps behind all those houses on Kia until it gets down to the creek, and that should have all been a storm sewer. That should have been a 36 or 48-inch storm sewer.
Instead of a waterway.
Instead, you got a giant hole.
Yeah, big old waterway, yeah.
That's really difficult for everybody, including those that live with it in their backyard, because the closer you get to Mickelson, that hill gets pretty darn steep. Even for the houses that have it as a backyard. So,
So, yeah, so there will be future discussions on this, but I think we just need to figure out how to handle these in some way, shape, or form, yeah, so. We'll be working on that. Otherwise, just a little update, Tyler Tortson with SMGA was here at the last council meeting too, and we are starting to see some movement still on regionalization. It's not dead. The very first part of that whole grant system was to do this study, and they're getting close to kind of the end of this study to basically evaluate all the communities, you know, the cost, the need for it, all that kind of stuff. That's part of the grant process. So it is, things are still happening, just don't see anything happening there. So I'm still moving forward on that. Otherwise, do you have any other questions?
things going on. I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thanks, Stacy.
Do you want me to take a picture of that plate and send it to you, or doesn't that help you? You just want to come look at it?
Does it have anything that says, like, who made it or what it is?